Hello everyone, I'm Arjunair and today I'm going to be analyzing and reviewing a movie that was considered to be the most scariest film of all time back in the 80s. Well, a man with a mission to make the most scariest movie ended up making this film, and this film is considered to be one of the best horror films ever. So, straight away, let's start reviewing and analyzing the film Shining. The film actually, is not a bad film. It's a good film, but I won't say it's scary actually, because there have been so much advancements in the horror film genre that pretty much the film actually is kind of outdated actually. The last 45 minutes of the film is much more thrilling than compared to the rest of the film actually. And the rest of the film was like a psychological drama. If you see, there are a lot of hidden details in the film that needs to be noted down. Like for example, there is this one scene where the protagonist Jack Torrance is basically having a discussion with Ullman, and pretty much this is the person who he's having a discussion with. And if you see here actually, right in the table, just for a moment there will be a shot of a red book that will be shown actually. The red book shot wouldn't be shown in particular, but definitely if you're smart enough to find out any details, you will figure out that the red book it's like it's called as the red book actually. So that will be there in the table actually. Now what's the red book? The red book was written by by a very famous psychologist, or by a person who actually was like dealing with the idea of being unconscious and not being in your present state of mind, or something like that. The themes of the book is similar to the themes of the film, so that is quite interesting to note down actually. Furthermore, there are a lot of other things that needs to be noted down. Like for example, yeah, in a scene where the son actually, that is the son of Jack Torrance, is actually wearing an Apollo shirt actually. Some say that it is an indication of Stanley Kubrick saying that he was the one who shot the 1969 moon landing actually. Now that's somewhat of controversy, that that's a theory that everyone knows actually. So as a fan of cinema, I love this film because the film's music is really good. Whenever the music like builds up to a scene actually, it actually creates an ominous sense actually. And the opening shot, with the helicopter drone shot actually of the car moving around, and of the natural beauty and of the natural landscape actually, during that time actually there will be a chilling and horror music. So that's pretty much it. Apart from that actually, I personally feel the actress who acted as Wendy, I mean, I think she kind of overacted, or at least just say she was nervous throughout the film. The way she was acting, it was like she was nervous throughout the film, and why wouldn't she be nervous? She is one of those actresses who was claimed to be tortured by the filmmaker Stanley Kubrick actually. So though torture might be a very harsh word, but definitely Stanley Kubrick pushed her beyond a certain limit to act very nervous throughout the film. There will be a shot where Jack will be looking into the model of the maze actually, and from there it will dissolve into the the Danny and Wendy actually walking into the maze. So there's a transition that's there. So that is something that is to be noted down. So we spoke about music, we spoke about hidden details, and let's speak about color. The color red is used prominently throughout the film, which is a connotation of violence, murder, and a lot more things. And the color red is, it creates an aesthetic appeal throughout the film. Furthermore, there are a lot of other things that needs to be noted down. Like for example, the scene where Danny is basically like possessed by his psychological like imaginary friend, and all of a sudden he faints down and he becomes dizzy, and he gets some visions of the hotel that he's going to go to. After that we see Danny lying on a bed. The bed has a bed sheet of a bear. Interestingly, the bear's colors, the bear is quite similar to the bear that is visible in the ending of the film, which is in a quite inappropriate scene, but it's quite interesting to see that there are a lot of hidden details that's there. This film delves into the psychological world of all these characters. Colors we spoke about, hidden details we spoke about. Now let's speak about acting. Well, the acting was good actually. Honestly speaking, at one point I thought that Jack Nicholson's acting was kind of overboard, but at the same time I thought that how else can he act actually, because this is the way, like he was supposed to act, and that kind of actually made him, like act much better. His acting was really good, and through his acting itself, there will be hints of him delving into the madness once he reaches the hotel. Before he reaches the hotel itself, there's a small scene where they have a conversation about cannibalism, and they don't have a conversation about cannibalism, but there's a reference of cannibalism, and Wendy immediately says, Jack, don't talk about this because yeah, their son will be there, who's a little boy, and the way Jack speaks in that scene, it's like as if he's possessed, or he's, you know, I mean, there are a lot of hidden details there. So we spoke about music, sound, we spoke about acting. The production design is quite brilliant, and the lighting that is used, most of the time natural lighting is used, and the candle lights are used for the lighting of the majority of the scenes. That's one thing that is to be noted down. A lot of tracking shots are there, plenty of tracking shots, plenty of zoom shots to reveal narrative, to give us narrative information, and yeah, pretty much that is one thing that is to be noted down. Camera, music, acting, and on scene. Let's talk about the narrative. The narrative slowly builds up to be, it builds up towards the last 45 minutes, and I think the last 45 minutes is the main, thrilling part, because before that it's all about psychology and all those stuff, how things get into his mind. It's more of like a build up, and there is this one shot where Wendy, she tries to open the door, and she takes a knife and she cuts it on the handle of the door. The next shot we see of a guy walking into the hotel, and that guy ends up dying with an axe banged onto his chest. So these are all things that are there. The editing was quite good. A lot of close-up, the few close-up shots were used. And to conclude, this film wasn't the scariest film of all time, but it had a lot of mystery in it. So I hope you all liked my review and analysis. For more videos like this, subscribe to my channel.